celebrating the, quote, death of different personalities. Of course, we know better. They're entering into Krishna's pastimes. It's actually, when a devotee leaves his body, it's very glorious, actually. Wow, it's like, boom, passing through the coverings and going back into Krishna's pastime. So devotee death is very, very glorious thing. So we celebrate these disappearance days. Translation: He who brought the treasure of divine love and who is filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where am I Sarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Jagannath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where is my Bhagavat Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? Where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where is Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, gone? Suddenly, I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being able to attain the association of Lord Gauranga and accompanied by all of his devotees, in whose association performed his pastime, Narada Das simply weeps. So again, for the outsider, weeping, I thought Krishna Consciousness was blissful. Talk about weeping, but this is called vipralamba, you see. Actually, the anguish, there's two pleasures, the pleasure of meeting and the anguish of separation. But actually, the anguish of separation is more ecstatic than the pleasure of meeting. So this is one of the esoteric understandings of Krishna consciousness, that in separation you can actually feel more love. Even in the material world, when a boy loves a girl and he expresses his affection when he's with her, when she's away, he writes love letters which are much more affectionate. Even in the material world, we see the perverted affection of that. So let's take a look at, I'm not an expert, I did a little research here on these great personalities. We have a nice prayer we sing, the Jagannath Das Babaji. Namo Gaura Virbhava Bhume Stvam Nidesha Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Sri Jagannathayate Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Jagannath Das Babaji, who is respected by the entire Vaishnava community and who confirmed the discovery of the place where Lord Chaitanya appeared. Prabhupada also mentioned something about him in a lecture he gave in London. The spiritual mantra, Hare Krishna, if you practice it just according to the rules and regulations, you become liberated, Namabhas. There are 3 stages chanting Hare Krishna. First, Namaparab, offensive. The second stage, Namabhas, and the third stage, Shuddhanam. Generally, in the beginning, we are offensive. Therefore, 10 kinds of offenses should be avoided. So while trying to avoid the offenses becomes Namabhas, and in the period of Namabhas, one becomes liberated. And when he chants Shuddhanam, he directly sees Krishna and enjoys his company, just like Haridas Thakur and Jagannath Babaji used to do. Can you imagine? By that Shuddhanam, you can actually be directly associating with Krishna. You can see him, you can enjoy his company. So that's the level of our Jagannath Babaji, you see. And that's the level Prabhupada wants us to come to. Even Prabhupada personally ordered me to come to that level. He said, just become qualified to see Krishna face to face. So when we do our japa, we should think, how can I chant completely pure so that I can follow the footsteps of these great acharyas like Haridas Thakur and Jagannath Das Babaji? And now there's a very nice description here of how he actually discovered how that place of Lord Chaitanya's appearance was discovered. I'd like to read this to you. It's a very wonderful description. During the last century, when Sridhar Mahaprabhu was all but forgotten, the great spiritual master Thakur Bhaktivinoda vigorously sought to restore it to its true importance. To be near that holy spot, he several times requested while serving as a government magistrate to be transferred to the town of Krishnanagar, which is near Sri Navadvip. But all such requests were rejected. He was willing to resign so he could live where Lord Chaitanya had appeared. When the government officials saw his sincerity and intentions, however, they finally agreed to grant his request for a transfer. Thereafter, Bhaktivinoda Thakur spent every spare moment visiting Navadvip, a town on the western bank of the Bhagirati or Ganges. To his surprise, Srila Bhaktivinoda found that the city, then called Navadvip, was not more than 100 years old, so he could not possibly have been the same Navadvip or Mayapur where Lord Chaitanya had appeared, although its residents tried to convince him that it was. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur therefore tried to find the actual appearance site of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some people insisted the city of Navadvip was indeed the site where Lord Krishna, where the Lord had appeared, whereas the others held the actual site was now under the Ganges River. So it was really bewildering to find it out. He was very intense. I must find that place. I must find that. I must find that place. This was the intense desire of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In the midst of such different opinions, Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda ascertained the actual birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by inquiring from the local people. He heard about a place northeast of Navadvip on the land owned by Muslims where there were seven large mounds covered with Tulsi plants. It was shrouded with rumors and it was uninhabited and uncultivated by the local Muslims who because of stories about strange lights and sounds, considered haunted and never went there. That very spot, he learned, was also respected by a few perfect devotees as the actual appearance site of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Furthermore, two maps made by the British pilots who had navigated the Ganges in the 18th century marked a town named Nadia on the eastern bank of the Bhagirati, north of Jalangi. That location corresponded to the one discovered by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda then showed the site to Jagannath Babaji, the foremost devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time, who definitely confirmed it was the site where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would appear. At that time, Jagannath Babaji was so old, he couldn't even lift his eyes. They had to open his eyelids for him. He couldn't open his own eyelids, can you imagine? He was so invalid. They'd open his eyelids so he could see something. So anyway, they brought him in a basket. He couldn't walk. They brought no wheelchairs, no walkers. They carried in a basket. They brought him in a basket to that site. And he confirmed it. He was, when he reached the holy spot, he found it genuine. He immediately jumped up and began to dance, shedding tears of ecstatic love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Can you imagine? He can dance in ecstasy, totally invalid, but by the power, the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, he danced in complete, total ecstasy. So that's amazing. How much we're indebted to Jagannath Babaji, you see. He's one of our great acharyas on our line of cyclic succession. How much we're indebted to this great personality who, by whose blessings we actually know where Lord Chaitanya appeared. We can go there. We have our Mayapur there. It's all by the mercy of Jagannath Das Babaji. So how much we're indebted to this great personality. And what is that saying? He lives forever by his divine instructions and his followers live with him. So we can actually associate with him. We can actually get his blessings and his sangha just by our intense desire to love him, appreciate him, and serve in his lotus feet. So just like we can associate with Prabhupada by remembering him, by serving his instructions, in the same mood, actually when we associate with Prabhupada, through reading his books, distributing his books, following his books, we actually get the blessings of all the acharyas all the way through the whole of cyclic succession. We get all their blessings. The blessings of all these great acharyas are showering upon us like torrents of rain in the monsoon season. So we have to learn then how to actually follow in the footsteps of these great personalities. How he can maintain a body because of his intense love to Krishna. He maintained his body so he could actually render this service of showing the holy place of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And let's see, now we go to Rasikananda. This is amazing stuff. His story is really amazing. We'll read it to you here. A great devotee of Lord Gopinath, not long after the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a king who was a deity hater was going around smashing deities in temples. Wow. When the people of Ramuna heard he was coming, they hid Gopinath in a pond 3 miles away. The king was upset when he could not find Gopinath, so he struck and partially broke Ramachandi, the Durga deity. Meanwhile, a great devotee named Rasikananda received an order in a dream to excavate the pond where Gopinath had been hidden. He recovered the Gopinath deity, built a temple for him, and took charge of his worship. Rasikananda was the foremost disciple of Shamananda, who had helped transport from Vrindavan to Bengal the writings of the Goswamis, leaders in Lord Chaitanya's movement. Shamananda had spread Krishna consciousness extensively in Orissa, where Rasikananda had become his disciple. Now, this is really amazing now, how he departed. This is really amazing. When Rasikananda decided it was time to leave the world, he went to the Gopinath temple and disappeared. He had been performing Sankirtan in the temple courtyard with 7 of his associates, and now his associates were so overwhelmed by spiritual separation that they too gave up their bodies and entered the spiritual world. They were doing a kirtan in the temple. And then he left his body, and the associates, they couldn't handle it, they all left their bodies too. 7 of them they all went, they said, we can't handle this separation. They all went back to God with him. Just by a kirtan. Can you imagine? Let's have a kirtan and lead. Let's have a kirtan now and all depart for the spiritual world. Nice send-off. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. These are amazing pastimes. These are not make-believe stories. These are factual histories. Should we learn from these great personalities like Jagannath Prabhuji, Rasikananda, how to actually absorb ourselves in the mellows of Krishna Bhakti. And it continues here, the samadhis, tombs of Rasikananda and those associates stand outside the temple. Each spring, the people of Ramuna hold a 12-day festival to commemorate the passing of Rasikananda. So the third person, today this is also the disappearance of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami at the age of 55, which is like, let's see, 2020, 23 years ago, yeah. 23 years ago, he left this world. Many of us had his association. I'll tell you some little leela I had with him, little nectar. I had not met him, of course, I'd heard about him, but Vishnu John Swami had made me devotee. So anyway, at that time I was stationed in Gainesville, Florida. Gainesville, used to be known as Geesville. They're the most opulent prasadam in the whole movement. And the traveling parties used to, they loved to come there. So anyway, I remember the first meeting I had with Tamal Krishna Goswami, he was there with Vishnu John, and he was saying, Vishnu John was known to be able to eat a lot of prasadam. So he said, I'm just a small fry, Vishnu John can eat me under the table. In other words, if I try to keep with him, I'll collapse under the table. So anyway, that was one pastime. Later on, I had an opportunity there was some restructuring of the zones, and he got what's called the Central Zone in America. Texas, Oklahoma, and up to Chicago. So anyway, I had an opportunity to join him, and I went ahead and joined his zone. And the amazing pastime actually happened. He just had a little tiny, we just had one building there at 5430 Gurley Street and an empty lot beside it. Maybe one other house. But anyway, he had preached in Tennessee to a bunch of householder couples, convinced them to give up their jobs, give up their houses, and come to move to Dallas to be part of a community he was building there. Can you imagine that? But he gave up everything and moved to become devotees in Dallas. So he had a very brilliant strategy. It was kind of an old neighborhood around the temple. So he had an idea, let's buy up the whole neighborhood. And all the houses up and down the block. And all around the whole block. I mean, the houses facing the block and the entire block. That was his strategy. So he sent devotees to each house, and he kept it very quiet that nobody knew he was buying up the whole area. So we had, every day there's some kirtan reports. Now how many books, it was how many houses were bought yesterday. Kijai. So in this way, he bought up the whole neighborhood, and these householders had their own houses there right across the street from the temple. I had a very special service. He let me be his tape minister. We didn't have MP3 in those days. It was cassette tapes. So I record the lectures, and they had a high-speed duplicator. I distribute them, and he was very pleased with my service. In fact, for 2 years in a row, from our zone, nobody went to Mayapur except for 2 devotees, Tamal Krishna Goswami and Sankarshan Das. So he was so pleased with my service. So, of course, he and I later on had some disagreements, but our final meeting was an embrace. So sometimes in ISKCON we do have disagreements, isn't it? But our mood is always, Vishwajan Swami always be in the embracing mood. So even if we disagree, and even there's a principle, we agree to disagree. One of my godbrothers, JBC, said we have that philosophy, agree to disagree. And if we disagree, let's still agree. We can be together even though we disagree. So our nice meeting was a nice embrace, you see. So in this way, we remember these great personalities are blessed, actually a great blessing. And we can hanker for that day, we can again meet them face to face and actually be relishing the sweet melodies of their Sangha. So why are we so much into this thing, Sangha, 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 you see? Because we're not impersonalists. The impersonalists want to deny personality. It's false, deity, cut off all attachments. I mean, cutting attachment to materialists, that's very good. But if you deny association with Vaishnavas, you're cutting your throat. Because our whole existence is based on loving exchange. That's why we exist, my dear devotees. We exist for the purpose of loving exchange, beginning with Krishna himself. Krishna likes loving relationships. That's why he's manifesting an infinite number of living entities from himself to enjoy loving relationships with them. And to even make it sweeter, Krishna wants to see that you love his devotees. Just like Papa told us that, he said, if you love me, you love my dog. He gives an example. Some very wealthy billionaire, he's walking down the street. You can't really impress him. Can't really please him, try to get on his good side. It's Elon Musk is walking down the street, walking his dog. You can't get on his good side, no way. But if you pat his dog, the dog wags his tail, then you're in, you see. So in this way, you see, if we can learn to become learn how to love the dog of God, the devotee of God, God's dog. You see. If we can learn how to have loving feelings, loving relationship with the devotee of the Lord, then, just see, he loves my devotee. See, then Krishna will shower his mercy upon you. So don't try to step on the head of the spiritual master and go directly to Krishna. Who needs a guru to step on his head and go to Krishna? Don't. That's a big mistake. It's called Vaishnava Aparad. Isn't that our first offense in chanting? To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. That means that you want to chant purely, you have to learn how to love and respect the Vaishnavas. See, that's what it means. That's why we celebrate these days of these appearances of these illustrious Vaishnavas. We celebrate because we want to get their blessings, we want to get their mercy, that they later want to also learn how to love Krishna. It's sometimes said that love of Krishna prema, is a contagious disease. It's like you associate with people who have COVID-19, you'll get it too. This is Bhakti-19. Let's find out the people who are infected with this disease and associate as much as possible. We also become infected, you see. So Prabhu was infected, and he infected us hippies. And then he spread it all over the world. See? So this is the wonderful thing. This is the disease, quote, that cures all diseases. Right now we have Bhava Rog, the material disease, anchoring after material enjoyment, trying to lord it over what is not our property. You see. We're trying to steal what does not belong to us by taking it as our own property. That's called a thief. We should not be thieves trying to take and enjoy for ourselves what belongs to somebody else. If we do so, we're considered very sinful, and you never can be happy. A thief can never actually be happy. Even if he gets away with stealing something, he's always afraid of getting caught, isn't it? Every time it's a knock on the door, he faces the police coming to arrest him. He got away with robbing something, but he's always in fear of being caught. So we may get away with trying to enjoy this material world deep. I'm going to face the punishment for this. These successful materialists, deep down, even they think, yeah, I'm really engraving a daytime, but deep down there's actually anxiety in their heart because they know they're going to be caught and punished for it. There's a saying, no, you let your conscience be your guide. So the conscience is very close to the supersoul. What you know is right and you know is wrong. Now you're getting reconnected with the supersoul. So, let your conscience be the guide, as sometimes said. So we should follow these footsteps of these great personalities. Just see how much they sacrificed their time, their energy, to please Krishna, to please spiritual master. Because when we learn how to do that, then we can actually conquer over all the difficulties. We have to learn how to fix the mind. The problem is our minds are like rascal children, naughty kids, running here, breaking this, breaking that, passing urine here, passing stool there. Our minds are like this. Little rascals. So there Krishna says, Yato yata nishchalati manaschanshalamastaram tatastata mayaya atmajavibhushamyaga. From whatever and wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So we have so much facility here. These deities, beautiful deities, Gauranatai, this beautiful temple, which is Prabhupada's dream come true. I mean, just to be in this temple is connecting with Prabhupada. This was his desire. He had this burning desire to establish this temple. And it's actually a very glorious thing to be able to come here and associate with Prabhupada, because it was his desire this temple become manifested. And the beautiful deities here, Radharasbihari and Sitaram. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Prabhupada is here. We have this great, great opportunity, you see, to bring our minds back, bring our minds back to where they once belonged, at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. We've been trying to enjoy separately for millions and millions and quadrillions and quintillions and sextillions of lifetimes. It has never been successful. We've never been successful. We tried again and again and again and again. But there's an interesting saying in this connection. If we learn how to capitalize on it, failure is the pillar of success. Isn't that amazing? Failure is the pillar of success. So we actually recognize how we failed. So it's actually good to see. Just not if you're making a mistake, you don't know it's a mistake, how you can conquer over it. But if you realize this is a mistake, if you actually realize you made a mistake, then that failure can actually help you to become successful. See? That person who notes his mistakes, very carefully notes his mistakes, that person will become a great success, great, great success. And a devotee is never bewildered or overwhelmed by failures. Look at Prabhupada's example. Read the Lalamrita, called A Lifetime in Preparation. You'll be amazed how many failures Prabhupada went through. Failure after failure after failure after failure, failure again and again and again and again, failing like anything. But he never lost his enthusiasm. He always had enthusiasm to push forward Krishna consciousness, the English language. He even had a whole Bhagavad-gita translated to English. It was stolen. Can you imagine? He had a whole book written. It was stolen. He had to start over again. But he did not lose his enthusiasm. He had a whole building in Jhansi. He started the League of Devotees, and they took it away to for some ladies' training school. Can you imagine? But he never lost that determination. Even to finally get out, he had the free passage on the Jaladuta, but he didn't get the P form. Even to get the stupid P form, and you go through hell. But he never gave up, he never gave up, he never gave up. And he got to America also. He went to the Agrawals and stayed as a guest in Butler, Pennsylvania. And then he stayed with some uptown slick Mayavadi, so-called guru in Manhattan. And then he moved him to his yoga studio because he had to walk so many blocks just to go cook. I mean, it's so many difficult in the cold New York winter. He had to walk so many blocks back to the the guy's kitchen, his apartment. So many difficulties. And then he got his own room because he could do his own thing. But then the janitor stole his dictaphone and his typewriter. Can you imagine? He had no money, no followers, but every little he had was stolen. Can you imagine what Prabhupada went through? But again, he never gave up the determination to put forward Krishna consciousness in the English language. And then finally, one of the persons who had come to hear from him, there in uptown Manhattan, in that little rented room, he said, I'm moving to California, but I have a flat down in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And there's this boy, David, who will pay the rent, and you can live there. So I moved into this flat with this boy named David Allen, but he went crazy on LSD, and he had to get out of there. Because I went completely crazy, like a monster he became. So just imagine, he went through so many difficulties, no money, his things were stolen, no place to live. Can you imagine what Prabhupada went through? And then finally, he had a few boys who were coming around, like Michael Grant, who became Mukunda Maharaj, you see. He asked them to help. And they found this little tiny storefront, 22nd Avenue, Ki Jai, you see. And there they took off like a rocket, you see. And then boom. They went to the Washington Square Park and then Tompkins Square Park. Even now you go to New York City, go to Tompkins. If you're in New York City, you must go to Tompkins Square Park and you'll see they have commemorated the Hare Krishna tree. It's right there with this New York City Parks Department has commemorated the Hare Krishna tree, and in which the first kirtans really took off to the public. And so it's amazing because Prabhupada was determined, I must serve the order of my spiritual master to push forward this Krishna consciousness movement in English language and just see the result. And my dear devotees, this is only the beginning. Prabhupada said his followers would make a revolution on this planet. So guess who that is? That's us. So don't rest on your laurels and say, well, we got it now, we got some nice temples, I got some nice prasadam, so I'm just going to take it easy now, kick back, chant a few mantras and have some glub jamun and take a nap. No, don't, it's called resting on your laurels. Don't take it easy now. Now we become more intense. We should learn from our beloved Prabhupada, become more and more intense, how we can push forward this movement to revolutionize this entire planet and indeed the entire material existence, according to the scriptures. Sarva loka mahish, sarva lokas. It's stated in the Itihasa Samuchaya. All the planets. So we have a great mission, we have a great opportunity. We are just tiny instruments. Let us be totally sold out instruments in the hands of these great acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Vasakananda, Jagannath Babaji, and all these great acharyas. Let us simply be puppets in their hands. An original puppeteer, of course, is our Murli Manohar, Krishna. He is the original puppeteer, and we're the puppets, as Prabhupada told his spiritual master in that one prayer. He said, you make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. So let us be in that mood that let me be a puppet in the hands of my spiritual master and the previous acharyas to do something glorious to establish this Krishna consciousness movement as the world religion as soon as possible. I mean, there's so much hell breaking out on this planet. Look what happened in Bangladesh. It's shocking what's going on in the name of, quote, religion, unquote. It's shocking. You see. So there's no solution outside of Krishna consciousness, you see. There's so many problems. Water shortage now. One island, they had to fly in bottled water so the people wouldn't die of thirst. Can you imagine flying in bottled water by a jet airplane so the people wouldn't die of thirst? How bad it's getting, is it? I mean, this planet is really going down, 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 down because we have neglected to put Krishna in the center. You see. We're trying to put our own egos in the center. That's the problem. Prabhupada says these government officials, I'm not talking about Modi now, but I'm talking about some other ones in other parts of the world. He said that they're man-eating rakshasas. Man-eating rakshasas. So we have this kind of leadership on this planet. They're simply greedy power mongers, money mongers. These people are leading greedy power mongers, money mongers, sex mongers. What kind of society can we have to expect? What kind of hellish nightmare to be expect to become more and more manifest on this planet? So you should be convinced this Krishna consciousness movement is the only solution to the problems of the world. There is no other solution. Not by legislation or by, incorporation or whatever, by technology, a more powerful iPhone or whatever. You cannot solve these problems by technology. You can only solve the world's problems by Krishna consciousness. Can you bring rain by legislative action? We'll pass a special resolution in the government for more rain. Can you bring more rain by government law, making a law that it must rain more? Make a law. Okay, here's a law. It must rain more. Will it happen? No. Indra doesn't care about your stupid law. Anadvavati bhutani parjana sambhava. All living bodies are produced on rains are produced from grains and they're produced by yajna. If you want rain, you have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. But you don't take it. Say, who needs your Krishna? I have my money, I have my women, I have my Mercedes-Benz. I don't need your Hare Krishna. Just see how misguided they are. These people who are opulent and powerful now, it is simply a result of their past pious activities. They're burning off their past pious activities. By their present pop, they're burning off their previous punya. They're exhausting it. These rich, powerful, famous people, they're going down to the animal kingdom. Actually, it's where we're heading. They're burning off. So our whole, even on the national level, the international level, just like America. Very powerful nation, rich, powerful, prestigious nation. Problem with that, because their God consciousness is still there in the American currency. In God we trust. But that trust will go. That in God we trust will disappear from the currency unless we can bring Krishna consciousness to the center. Because I've seen personally, when I grew up as a kid in the U.S., in every school throughout the whole United States, we would say the Lord's Prayer. Prayer by Lord Jesus, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. But then one lady named Madeline O'Hare, she didn't like it that her kid had to pray the Lord's Prayer because she was an atheist. So to pacify this, one lady said, okay, no more prayers in the whole United States. Why don't you send the kid to a different room? These judges have no brains. They have no brains. Let the kid go to a different room. They have a room like they have smoke rooms at the airport, right? Have the atheist room. All the atheists go to the atheist room, they don't have to hear the prayer. But they said, no more prayers anywhere. The prayer is banned all over the whole country. So this is the kind of idiotic leaders and judges we have in this world today. And unless something is done by our ISKCON devotees, to push forward these books, to push forward this knowledge, to push forward this movement with great intelligence, with great determination, with great enthusiasm, this whole society is going to collapse into be aborigines in the jungle very soon. Right now they're killing their own children, can you imagine? Have illicit sex, no problem. A baby comes, kill the damn thing. Can you imagine how sinful it is? Sex, baby, no problem, kill it. Just imagine how sinful they become. How sinful. Even there's some it's considered very fashionable in certain circles to eat the aborted feces, eating them. Can you imagine? Problems of the snakes do it, and some human beings are all considered very fashionable. Yes, people have aborted baby for a dinner today. Can you imagine how sinful they become? That's where we're heading, my dear devotees. That's how much we're heading into the deep darkness of delusion on this planet. So we have to be very determined to chant our rounds purely, to do everything we can to push forward this movement, to defeat this age of Kali. So we have a few minutes left here. If there's any questions, I can try to answer them. Yes.
Gurudev,
You can write them also. My hearing isn't any group. Do you have paper? No. Yeah. You can help me here. My hearing isn't so good. You can speak it. Go ahead.
Gurudev, out of these 6 loving exchanges, all are equally strong or one is the most?
There's 6 loving exchanges. Dadate pratagranati guyamma kachi prachati bhungte bhojai jaiva shadvidam sati lakshan. They're all equal. Whether you give somebody a gift or receive a gift, you reveal your heart to them or open your mind to have them reveal their heart to you, or you give them prasadam or accept prasadam from them, it's all transcendental. You can't say one's better than the other. Rupa Goswami never said one is better than the other. So we have to understand that Rupa Goswami has given 6. We shouldn't think, well, I think this one's better. That's speculation. If Rupa Goswami had specified this one is more important, we could take that. But no, because Rupa Goswami has given them all 6, we should understand they're all equally important. Whether you give me prasadam or I give you prasadam, they're both equally good. Just like when Prabhupada was here, I remember we had a Leela in Los Angeles. Everyone gave Prabhupada a flower and he gave every one of us a flower. We were standing down the line on the sidewalk. Prabhupada, go down the line one by one. You had your own loving, you give Prabhupada a flower, he gives you one. So what's more auspicious? What's more auspicious? To give Prabhupada a flower, to get the flower. What's more auspicious? Actually, they're equally auspicious. To give Prabhupada a flower, to receive him a flower, they're equally good. Datate pratagranati. Giving or receiving, they're both good. So don't be one-sided. We should not be we have to only become balanced Vaishnavas. Be in the mood of giving, in the mood of receiving, both. Not that I only give, I don't need to receive. I'll give you a flower. No, don't give me a flower now. I don't need a flower. I'm pretty advanced. I don't need give somebody else a flower. Don't give it to me. No, you give me a flower with love, I will accept it. So we be equally in the mood of giving and receiving. Equally, both important. Next. Or we call it quits.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the lecture. My question is ki now I understand that Krishna consciousness is the solution, right? Without it, nothing makes sense. But then still again, sometimes the question arises that what if it is not real? Like what if there is no Krishna?
Can I
What
let me have him help me because my hearing is pretty shot. What if Krishna consciousness were not the solution? Then there'd be no solution. It'd be hopeless. If there was no God, and it's always just that, actually it wouldn't make any sense. To say there's no solution means there's no God. There's no solution for the problems. I mean, that God doesn't really love us, or there is no God, then where did it all come from? Someone said, well, it's just a figment of my imagination. Nothing really exists, but I think it exists. That's another philosophy. Nothing really exists, but simply it's a figment of my imagination that anything exists. But wait a minute. Where's the I that does the imagining? If nothing exists, then how you can even imagine that something exists? So these bogus philosophies can easily be defeated. With a little philosophical expertise, by studying and reading these books, we can defeat all these arguments, you see. These bogus, they talk about all these bogus Mayavadis and Buddhists. Just, it's like, they're not very advanced philosophically. They're not very advanced. They're like little kids, trying to cook up some philosophy. They're nowhere. These great Vaishnava philosophers, the Goswamis, these are the greatest philosophers in the history. Nobody can touch. Look at Bhaktisiddhanta's translation for the Brahma Samhita. Who can touch the philosophy, is it? He is an undifferentiated entity. There is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. This is high-level stuff. So if you actually read these literatures that Prabhupada has given us, you'll be amazed at how powerful it is, and you can see this it can solve all the problems of a holy, not only this planet, but there's problems on Saturn and Moon and Sun also. And even there's multi-universes, even the scientists are confirming multi-universes now. So throughout the whole material existence, we have problems, big problems throughout every planet, through every universe. Even the heavenly planets, they have problems. They have to die eventually. So everywhere there are problems, but we have a solution because Krishna is kind. These problems are our own creation. Actually, there is no problems, actually. Problems are our own mental concoction. We created problems by trying to enjoy, like the fish had no problem living in the water, but he saw those people in the land, they looked like they were having a pretty good fun up there on Juhu beach, walking around Juhu. Little fish peeps up. Oh, they jump up on the Juhu beach and see if I can enjoy in Juhu. So there actually is no problems at all, but we have created problems by our own stupidity. And so we have to stop being so stupid, and there'll be no problems anymore. And we get back to our original identities. Jivara Savrupa Krishna and Ichadas. Okay? Got it?
Prabhuji, one more question I had. Is there any way we can understand Krishna? Like, we cannot directly perceive Krishna, right? So, about that.
What do you mean you can't directly perceive Krishna? You know what, Prabhupada, the first lecture I heard Prabhupada in San Francisco, 71, June. I was telling Brajahari about it yesterday. The first lecture I heard, this is 300 devotees and 3,000 hippies. He said, you have all seen God. Because Krishna says, I'm the light of the sun. Right now, I see the light of the sun here that's at the Prabhupada tower, that one. I'm seeing the light of the sun bouncing off that tower right now. Krishna said, I'm the light of the sun. He says, I'm the taste of the water. Prabhupada said, every day we drink water, once, twice, thrice, more than every day. He said, every time you drink water, remember Krishna is the taste of the water, immediately become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada told us devotees and all the hippies, it is not difficult to become Krishna conscious, simply requires practice. So, and then Prabhupada also gives a nice example. Let's see. What is that example? Yeah. I forget the exact, but simply, the thief, that's right. Prabhupada said simply to see God, it simply requires eagerness. That's the one quality to be able to see God. He said, give the example of that thief. He went to one of those Bhagavat discourses in South India looking for something to steal, right? Somebody left their purse, He was looking for something to steal. But then he heard the Bhagavat reciter saying, this little boy named Krishna, you've all heard the story, but I'll tell it again. The little boy Krishna, he wanders all alone in the forest of Vrindavan, loaded with valuable jewels. And he went, a little boy wandering all alone in the forest, loaded with valuable jewels. All right. I'm going to go to India and I find that boy. I'll become a millionaire overnight. So he went to Vrindavan. He's looking, where is that boy? Where is that boy? Where is he? And Krishna was so kind because he was very eager. I must see Krishna. I must see Krishna. And Krishna revealed himself. And he saw all the jewels. He said, oh, my dear little boy, you have so many valuable jewels. Can you give me some? Krishna said, no, my mother will be very angry. Playing the sculpted son of Jasoda. No, my mother will not let me. But by that association, he became pure. Even though he went with a material motive, by that association he became purified, and Krishna said, now you can take. So it is possible to see God. It is possible. Prabhupada ordered me. He said, now I'm qualified to see Krishna face to face. Does Prabhupada say that it's some flowery words, or is it possible? Prabhupada would not give me that instruction if it was impossible. It is possible, the mercy of Prabhupada, to come to that. Of course, we're already seeing him in the form of the deity. But the way Prabhupada sees the deity, we see the deity are two different things. Prabhupada can see the deity in such a way the deity will talk to him and give him instructions, you see. We're not there yet, but we use the books to get instructions, you see. But the point is, it is possible to see Krishna face to face, eye to eye. it simply requires, what is that sloka? Premanjana charita bhakti valochanena santak sadava hridayesha valokayanti yang shama shunyam machintagana svarupam govindam adipurusham tamahabhajami. You know the translation? I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, with Shama Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, unnumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. So that's the key. You have to tinge your eyes with a special type of anjana ointment. You have to get that special ointment, and you can see Krishna. So, what is that ointment? Prem Anjana, the ointment of love. You have to learn how to feel love for Krishna. And when that love of Krishna completely overpowers all the lust, anger, greed, madness, and envy, then you will see Krishna directly face to face. So it's interesting to know, I was just there in Prayag. We went to the original location of Prayag Pharmacy. Have you been there? Yeah, we went to Prayag Pharmacy. We actually went there to the storefront where Prabhupada used to have his pharmacy business in Prayag, Prayag Pharmacy. He even had something called Day's Liniment. He had a good thing for toothache also. He developed a very good formula for toothache, Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, before he took Vanaprastha, he was a pharmacist. So I've asked you devotees, is Prabhupada still a pharmacist or not? Yes, Prabhupada is still a pharmacist. Instead of Prayag Pharmacy, now he has ISKCON Pharmacy. And we have one medicine called Premanjana. So you're welcome. They have the Apollo Pharmacy I've seen here in India. So we have the ISKCON Pharmacy. You see. And we have one medicine only, and that is Prem Anjana. So where do I get this Prem Anjana? Well, I can tell you, my dear devotees, this Prem Anjana is a mystical ointment. Normally, eye ointment, you just put a little, but this eye ointment, it goes put the ears. Can you imagine putting eye ointment through your ears? Yes. When you hear submissively Krishna's holy name, when you hear submissively the Katha, the Bhagavad-gita, you're actually taking this Prem Anjana through your ears. You see. And you take it deeply, deeply, deeply enough, it drives away all the coverings. Krishna is actually present before you right now, Prabhu. Krishna is standing in front of you right now, but you can't see him because your eyes are covered by cataracts of material desire. But this Prem Anjana will make it Krishna visible. I give another example. Just like as the Brajhari Prabhu has glasses, you see. If you take the glasses off, it's all a blur out there, isn't it? Everything is kind of blurry. So actually Krishna is present, but he's blurry right now. He's blurry, you see. But we put on the glasses, you see, if Krishna consciousness, then we can actually come to see Krishna face to face. So Krishna is present. And it's not that yours is another number. Krishna actually takes every single jiva, including you, as his dearmost servant. For Krishna, it's like every queen in Vindorka was the dearmost queen. She felt like she was the only one, and she got so much love and affection. But Krishna teaches every single jiva has that kind of feeling for every single jiva soul throughout all of existence, because he can manifest himself to an infinite number of Krishnas for each and every jiva soul. So Krishna wants to have that special, sweet, intimate relationship with you. You can see him, he can see you, and you have unlimited exchanges of loving rasa. He wants that with you. So you just have to get out of Maya and chant Hare Krishna with love, and that day will come when you come back to them. You'll be able to see him directly, face to face. You don't have to wait for death. We read today, Jagannath, Babaji, Haridas, they can directly see Krishna even within their bodies. You don't have to wait for going back to God to see Krishna. If you become pure, you can see him right here, right now, today in Juhu. It's a matter of learning from Jagannath Babaji and Haridas how to chant with complete, total absorption in the holy names. We got about 5 minutes left. Everybody want to leave early today? There's one more question before we head out for Pune.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And now the ladies don't have any questions today? Usually the ladies have bunch of questions. Are they sleeping back there? Yeah, go ahead.
have a tendency for sense gratification. So how
Oh yes, we have a tendency for sense gratification. It's time immemorial. We've been dragged by our senses.
so how to give it up? Because it's
How to give up this tendency for sense gratification. Wow. From whatever and where how to get out of, well, it really boils down to 259, Vishayavani Varatante, Niraharashi Dehina, Rashvashanmasho Priyashva, Parangvasmuni Vartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste with sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, is fixed in consciousness. You want to gratify your senses? Sure, we all love it. Tongue, belly, genitals, go for it. That's the modern day philosophy. Enjoy while you can, before you get old and senile. Enjoy you can. Girls, wine, intoxication, whatever you enjoy as much as you can. That's the modern day philosophy. Hedonism. So we come out of that culture. So how to become free from that tendency? Well, Bhagavan Thakur realized he put his eyes out so he wouldn't be attracted to women anymore. But we don't advise that. We say just gaze upon the beautiful form of Gaura-Nitai. See, SriRadhaRasbihari. Just learn how to have loving feelings, like we sing those beautiful bhajans. Venum kvanantam adavindaradaya taksam barhabatam samasitam buddhasundaram gam kandarpakoti kamani avisheshavam govindamadi purusham tamam vajami. Worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept at playing on his flute. Actually, there's a warning. You know that warning from one gopi to another? One gopi girl, she advised her gopi girlfriend, Smadan Bangi Taibachi Tam Satya Vishtina Dishting Vangsina Kishadam Ujadam Tam Dakina Govindakam Haditan Meta Keshi Tirtvakamte Ma Prakshishas Tadagadi Saki Sanishivangaha. My dear gopi girlfriend, if you have any desire to enjoy sense gratification, then don't you dare go to the bank of Jamuna at Keshiga. This little boy, the beautiful boy there, is casting sidelong glances, placing his flute to his lips, which like newly blossomed twigs, and his beautiful body bending in three places, very beautifully illuminated by the moonlight in the sky. So whatever you do, don't go to Keshiga in the moonlit night. She advised her gopi girlfriend. Because you'll forget about all that sense gratification. The point is, you want gratification, that's okay. But you have to understand what real gratification is. Real gratification is Krishna consciousness. This other stuff is actually humanitarian, but spit at it. It's disgusting. It's like, would you like a nice rasagula, or how about a nice piece of stool? You see? The hog wants the stool, and forget the rasagula, I want this. So we shouldn't be like hogs wanting to eat stool. This material sense gratification is simply stool. Dirty, stinky stool is all it really is, you see. So we have to learn to taste the rasagula, or the love jama, you see. Krishna, 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 Krishna. What is that prayer? Tunde tandamaneng mitanade tanali labdaye karnakra gadamade gate kai pranay biham chaita pangani sangani vijay sabendrayanam gatim najane janita kriyam. That's all right, I'll finish it. This is the end. One last thing. I got to be obedient. I won't be able to lecture here in the future. But we'll wait for it to finish. It's beautiful. This is a very beautiful. The 9 processes of devotional service. Each ring is a different one of the 9 processes. This is Rupa Goswami's wonderful. He's our great authority. We're called Rupanugas. He's one of our great authorities. We're all Rupanugas here. So, Prabhupada's disciples, we're all Rupanugas. We're the Rupanuga family. See. Rupa Goswami says, I do not know how much nectar these 2 syllables, Krishna, produced. Because when I vibrate Krishna, there's so much nectar, this mouth can't hold it. So I got to have a lot of mouths to try to hold this nectar. And when Krishna entered the halls of my ears, oh, I need millions and billions and trillions of years to hold the nectar. And when Krishna dances in the court of my heart, my mind is completely conquered and my senses become completely deactivated from sense gratifications. So the real thing is you just have to learn how to taste the nectar of the name. It's better than sex, it's better than drugs, it's better than money, it's better than power, you see. The ultimate gratification is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. It's even better than being a Brahma, have a whole universe under your control. Can you imagine? The ultimate sense gratification is Hare Krishna mantra. So you have to learn how to chant it with love, with feeling, with intensity. And then when Maya Devi comes, like she came to Haridas, yes, my dear girl, I'll be happy to have sex. Just sit here and wait for finish my job. And it was a trick. Actually, he knew that she was sent by the Muslims to defame him. He knew ahead of time. He was ready for him. When that girl comes, I'm going to trick her into becoming a devotee. So we have to trick Maya Devi. She comes to allure us. Yes, Maya Devi. Yes, I'll be happy to give you whatever you want, but just be patient while I finish my job. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. One can think, well, he had a beautiful young girl, he could have gotten married. But no, he left her the hut and went away. Gave her the hut. His bhajan kuchar. He donated his bhajan kuchar to the prostitute and he went away on his own happy Hare Krishna travels. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. So we'll leave it at that. We thank you all very much for by working together as a team here to serve this great, great temple of Srila Prabhupada, one of his dearmost projects, to be honest with you. One of his dearmost projects in the whole world was this temple. He fought like anything with this Mr. Nair to get this land, and Prabhupada defeated that rascal, you see. Actually, when Mr. Nair died, Prabhupada quoted some person, when a demon is killed, the devotees are happy. So it was a great victory when Prabhupada got this away from that demon rascal Nair and got this wonderful piece of land here, a beautiful temple. So work together to make this temple so glorious that even the demigods will want to come here regularly to become inspired. Thank you very much.
His Grace Sriman Sankarshan Adhikari Prabhu Ji ki jai. We have the book here, the